So when did the acting bug bite you? Where did that come from?
It bit me when I was 14.
Wow.
Yeah, I was in New York, and that's a long story. Yeah. I'm sorry, this is awful. I was like, for a second while I'm in the middle of an interview. I'm like, yeah, I was in New York. Yeah, I was 14 and in New York, and then got discovered, and so we just tried it for the summer, and of course my parents weren't going to let me do it, but then by the end of the summer it was totally clear that, it was what I was made to do and what I was supposed to do, and so we did it, and I've just been doing it ever since.
What about it appealed to you? What struck you about it, do you think?
I don't know. I love stories. I love storytelling. I love hearing stories, and I don't know. I just think that certain people are made for certain things. I have an overactive imagination. That might be a part of it. Just every part of acting. I love it.
So were there
feels right?
Yeah. Were there films or actors or actresses or directors that inspired you early on?
Well, yeah, but I didn't. Yes, the shorter and the less complicated answer is yes. I was a huge fan of Charlize Theron. That's why it was amazing to work with her. Meryl Streep is my favorite actress, and favorite movies. Why did The Holy Grail just came to my mind? I was like, I need to think of an artsy, great movie.
No. There's nothing wrong with The Holy Grail. That's good.
No, there's not. It's a great movie. Yeah, so I guess Monty Python and The Holy Grail inspired me to be an actress.
Wow. Well, that's something we haven't heard before. That's good.
Yeah, me neither.
With The Burning Plane, was this an opportunity, an audition opportunity? How did this come about for you?
Yeah, it was just an audition, and then I got called back, and Guillermo sat me down and said, after I saw your tapes, I knew that you were the one, and I stopped all of the casting and everything, and just goes into this whole thing, and basically tells me I'm hired, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I have my headshot. Should I do the audition? It was insane. So yeah, I just went on a normal audition, and then on the callback, I booked it.
Tell me about him, because he seems, his enthusiasm and his passion for what he does, it's so infectious. And tell me about working with him and how he directed you.
He was amazing, actually. For never directing a film, he was one of the most interesting directors I've ever worked with. He did really interesting things that at first seemed crazy, and then you see the movie and you see that obviously it worked. Things like, I remember we didn't ask him questions about our character before we started filming. He asked us questions. And I just had to answer a ton of questions just about my character to help build Mariana, and I'd never done anything like that before. And for one of the scenes where I had to look into the window and see my mother with another man, and in actuality I was looking at, nothing. And he whispered in my ear, the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm never going to say that out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I gagged, and he's like, that's the face I want. So I just went in the window and gagged. And I ended up, he's like, cut, take the game. No.
I read a conversation he had with a character that I think plays your father, maybe. And he asked him if he knows how to ice skate, if his character knew how to ice skate, and he says sure. And he says, well, how would he know how to ice skate? He lives in the middle of the desert. He would ask offbeat questions like that.
I know, and he's a smart ass too. But my favorite part about him is he thinks he's so fly, and I'm such a smart ass. I'm gonna, And then I remember him telling me a story. This is when he's still iffy on language, and he said, and this 90-year-old man, he wore diapers, and I started laughing. He goes, it's not funny. He was in diapers. And I just let him go. I didn't even correct him because I was so mad. I just let him go. He probably still to this day thinks that it's diapers. And then his assistant, Adrian, was learning English, and I'm such a butthead, and I'm just admitting all of this. Everything that he would ask in English, I would end it with a ski. So he was like learning language through Jennifer, and which was like, oh, when I see big fire, it makes me sick, scareski. And like, ski. So every single English word that he had ended with ski. And why are you doing that?
Well, I would think it'd be great to have somebody that that energetic on the set, because this is daunting material. When you read it, were you scared to death? Did it scare you?
No.
No?
I thought it was great. But the script itself, it's not really gonna scare you. I mean, Guillermo messes with your feelings with what he does with film. You know, how he films things in the contrast of Oregon and New Mexico, and the relationships with people and the development of, you know, characters and their relationships with other people, like I just said. When you're reading the script, you can see that it's an amazing story, but once Guillermo starts, I don't know, painting it, it ends up being something completely different. And
right.
Yeah, he was great to have on set, because I just remember having a blast. I mean, everybody that sees the movie is like, that must have just been so hard for you to be in that dark place and doing a movie like that. I'm like, no, I just remember laughing all the time. We were all just, I don't know how we got into work done, actually. We were always just laughing, pranking each other, calling them everything ends in skis.
But at the same time, I mean, you're acting with one of your idols, which is Charlize Theron, in this big movie. And I was just, the question that I asked about being scared, it was a lot of times that actors gravitate towards the things that they fear the most challenging. And I'm wondering what the biggest challenge of this was for you.
Oh, well, the trailer scene, hands down. I've never been nervous on set before. I've never gotten nervous before acting or anything like this, and I was freaking out on my trailer before that scene, because in everything that I've ever done, you can base it off yourself a little bit. You know, I know what I look like when I cry and when I'm angry and when I'm laughing, and I can do that. And I don't know. I just, what do you do? And I don't want to give away the ending, but what do you've seen the movie, so what do you do when something like that happens? I couldn't even really imagine what I would do, and I remember showing up on set, and everybody's like, hey, like, oh, leave her alone, she's about to do something incredible, and I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm about to let all of you down, and you guys think I'm going to do so great, and I'm just going to be awful, I have no idea what to do. And then they set up a C-stand with an X on it, and called action, and I just started like shaking and crying and everything, and then it turned out to be the right choice, I guess. And so I got scared when I was on set, and then when I got in front of camera, I ended up knowing what to do, I guess. I don't know where that came from.
Well, you're a natural. I mean, and that's a fantastic, powerful scene. And I'm so moved by you in this movie. You're fantastic in it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are you good at watching yourself on screen? When you've seen this at various film festivals and screenings and things, are you good about that?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I learn something every time I watch. You know, I don't think that I should not want to watch something because I'm afraid of, you know, if I have a double chin or how my butt looks. You know, I don't want to be able to like not watch myself on screen. It's actually, this is weird. I actually don't think I've ever told anyone this. The weirdest part about the show is when I'm watching myself on screen, I know it's me, but it's not really like watching me. It's like watching just a normal person. It doesn't really affect me that much. Mm-hmm. But when I went to the first screening and I saw it for the first time, seeing Charlize, it was the most out-of-body experience I've ever had.
When you watch the film at film festivals and things, how's that experience been for you? I know you had a huge victory at Venice. You won an award at Venice last year for this film.
Yeah.
What was
That
that
was
whole
incredible.
experience like?
So weird. You would not even believe. Like, first of all of this is happening. I'm going to Italy, and there's like huge premieres and everything. And my brother's like, "What the hell is going on?" All of us were. We're all just like rednecks from Kentucky, like, freaking out. And then the premiere ends, and we go back to Kentucky, and then we go to Toronto the next day for the Toronto Film Festival. And that night, I'm getting ready for the Toronto Film Festival, and Guillermo calls me, and he goes, "My dear, I have very bad news." And I was like, "What?" He says, "You cannot come tonight." I was like, "What? Why? Why can't I come tonight?" He goes, "You cannot come. You cannot come because you have to fly to Italy because you just won Marcello Mastroianni Award or something." And I was just like, "Yes! Oh my gosh! What is that?" And started freaking out, and then got on a plane to Italy, or flew to London and then to Italy, where it was then daytime. I haven't slept, so I'm probably like crazy when I land. And then go walk into this hotel room. It's like beautiful dresses hanging everywhere and like shoes lined up. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a princess." And then I got ready and got the award, and it was just all so out of body. I can't even describe what that feels like. It's just such an incredible feeling when you work so hard on something and you get recognized for it and appreciated and rewarded.
It's got to be overwhelming. Yeah.
It was, but I'd take it any day.
But you're actually about to screen. I think if I read correctly, you're about to screen it in your hometown, aren't you?
I am, yeah, at the Louisville Film Festival.
Is that an exciting proposition for you? Or?
Yeah, it's really exciting, especially because my mom is like has completely taken this festival like into her own hands. There's festival people at our house all the time, and my mom is just like, "Oh, you going to be there? Are you going to be there for the film festival?" I'm like, "Geez, yes, I guess so." But I'm really excited. I mean, it's my hometown, and now I get to, share something like this, something that I love. It's like part of my life with my home people.
Well, before I let you go, yeah, your homies, yeah. Before I let you go, tell me about some of these other projects. I know that the Poker House just came out on DVD this past month, and that's Lori Petty directed it, and it's based on her childhood. And I was reading about it. It sounds pretty harrowing stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
It's apparently I like to make movies where nobody is comfortable. That's something I've recently found out about myself. Yeah, it's a dark story. It's not pretty, so it's not a pretty movie, but there's something. I mean, I love it. I admire Lori more than anything. I think it's a great movie. And what the weirdest part about it is, as dark as all the subject matter is, and as like terrible as everything is, there's still lightness, and you'll laugh. I was so confused when I saw it for the first time. I'm like crying, I'm laughing, I'm so confused. But it's a great film. I'm incredibly proud of it. It was my first movie.
Wow. And you have a couple other things coming up. Winter's Bone and Devil You Know I have here. What can you tell me about those?
No, that's so weird. Yeah, Winter's Bone is coming up. I just did that. But Devil You Know was something that I did when I was 14, and I had one scene. I didn't say anything. I just, smoked a joint in the movie. Wow. And now it says it's coming out. What's going on?
I saw that it has a 2009 release. Unless what I'm reading is wrong. They have a Venice Award winner in a scene smoking a joint. That's probably what they're capitalizing on. But I don't know. I don't know.
About. That is weird. Thanks for telling me.
Well, that's
be more on top of things. Jeez.
That's what I'm here for. So, but Winter's Bone, is that a project you're excited about, or can you tell us anything about that?
Oh yes, I'm incredibly excited about it. It was one of my favorite books before I did it. Well, one of my mom's, and then she made me read it. I loved it too. And it's just such an amazing story and such an incredible character. I love playing people who I could never in a million years be. First of all, you need to know I'm terrible at explaining movies and characters. It's awful. I'll spend 15 minutes trying to explain a storyline, and you will have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm going to try. It's about a girl that grows up in the Ozark Mountains, and she amidst a drug town, a drug family, and she's raising her two younger siblings, and her father is out on bail, or no, he put her, I did the movie, but I don't remember what it's about. Her father put their house and their property up for his bond, so she needs to go find either him or his body. And she sets out, and her family doesn't want her to do this. See, I'm going to make it sound terrible, but it's really good, and I'm afraid if I explain it, everybody's going to be like, "Ew, I don't want to see that."
That's okay. I have no doubt that it's great. You did a great job explaining it.
Trust me, it's great.